convinced that if I had access to this list 5 or 6 years ago, I'd be a CEO. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Close enough. I realized just how much I didn't know at the beginning of my career that I only learned through working in human resources and through working in recruiting that fundamentally would have accelerated my career, and I'm hoping it's going to do the same for you. Hey, what's up? It's Emily Durham. Welcome back, or welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, hey girl, make yourself comfortable. Make yourself comfortable. Welcome in. Welcome in. And without further ado, let's get into it. And hey, if you're here, click that little subscribe button. Why wouldn't you want to hang out? I think we're having a great time. I like you. Do you like me? Starting off with bad news. A meritocracy doesn't exist, and the second you come to terms with that is the second you'll be able to advance your career. The notion of a meritocracy is great. It's a system that rewards hard work and strong performers with more money and promotions and more success. But that's not the world that we actually operate in, and you need to let go of this lie that your hard work is going to get you places, because it's not. In my experience, it's rarely the smartest or the hardest working person who is getting the promotion. It's typically the person who is the most liked and the most well connected. Truly successful people are invested in building relationships with everyone around them. Almost 80% of jobs are filled via referral, and referrals come from networking. A large part of your personal brand at work has very little to do with your work itself and more to do with your personality and how people perceive you. You need to invest in building relationships and having advocates for you at your company or at companies you want to work for in the future. And you need to get really comfortable selling your skills in order for you to get ahead. I actually have a full video on selling skills somewhere up here. Whether you're new at a company or new to work in general, you start at zero. Another harsh realization is that when you're new to an environment, people aren't going to automatically assume that you're competent. You're going to have to prove it. I'm telling you this so that you know when you're starting a new job, the first thing you need to do is build credibility and make sure people have no choice but to trust you and see you as an expert. And like, you don't want to be the kind of person who's constantly boasting about your accomplishments and being one of those people. What it means is you need to show up and ask really thoughtful questions, be seen as reliable, and position yourself as a subject matter expert within your first 90 days of the new job. There's also no such thing as friends at work. Those people might be friendly. You might grab a drink with them after work. Hell, you might even hang out with them on the weekends, and I love that for you. But very, very rarely is that person at work truly your friend. I'll paint you a picture. You're out for drinks with these work friends. You accidentally slip up and say something kind of bitchy about somebody you work with. Somebody opens an HR case. They reach out to your friend and say, hey, did Emily say this? Obviously, they're going to say yes, because at the end of the day, you are both employed by the same people, and their priority has been and always will be their career. So if they have to throw you in front of the bus to get there, that's exactly what they're going to do. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be friendly. I've actually made really amazing, long-standing friendships from work, but what it does mean is you need to be thoughtful and strategic about who is truly, truly, truly a friend and a work acquaintance, because it is not the same thing. Which leads me to a cardinal rule: 2 drink maximum. I kind of treat this stuff like it's a first date, you know? If you are out with your team at a work social, holiday party, I don't care what it is, if you are someone who drinks alcoholic beverages, stop yourself at 2. There is nothing worse than branding yourself as the person who gets sloppy drunk or even a little too tipsy. You might say the wrong thing, offend the wrong person, and literally stunt your career and fundamentally change your personal brand. It is not worth it. You need to develop a clear point of view very early on. I actually think this one is super interesting because the value people think they're bringing to the work that they do is typically tied to outputs. Am I able to create reports? Am I able to deliver a strong presentation? But as you get more senior in your career, your value is your mind, not just your output. What people are really going to turn to you for is, hey, what's your perspective on this? Hey, what do you think about this? How would you approach this? Your most valuable asset is going to be your unique point of view and your unique ability to problem solve. The only way you can do this is if you are comfortable having an opinion and sticking the hell to it. And the earlier in your career you get comfortable with having an opinion, sticking to it and sharing it, the better your career is gonna be. Do not be the person that waits for instruction. Like, there is no worse brand you can create for yourself other than being a drunk, sloppy mess than to be the kind of person who needs to wait to be told to fix things and wait to be told to do stuff. If you find a problem, you need to go to your boss, flag the problem, but also have a solution. Never approach someone with a problem without already thinking through what a potential solution is. I've learned you should always lie when it comes to money, especially when you're interviewing for a job. I don't care if this isn't ethical advice, because it's advice that's gonna get you paid. And frankly, capitalism isn't ethical, and I can't fix that by myself. So we'll just tweak the system so you and I get what we need, okay? When you're in an interview process and the recruiter is asking you what are your salary expectations, it's okay to not answer answer, but if you choose to do that, it's okay to inflate what your expectations are, knowing they might not be able to meet it. And on the note of money, it is so critically important that you negotiate every single time you are offered a position and that you ask for a raise every single year. The worst case scenario is they say no and nothing changes. But the worst case scenario, if you don't ask at all, is you lose out on money. However, without a doubt, one of the biggest pieces of advice and learnings that I have is that you should never say no to doing more. I know, who wants to do more work for free? Womp womp, I don't like it. But here's my thinking. If your boss sees you as a high potential, high performing employee, and they want to give you a little bit more work to stretch you, that stretch assignment is typically what's going to propel you to the next level. So if you say, I don't really want to take on this assignment, what you're really saying is, I don't want you to see me as your successor, and I don't want you to see me as the next step for promotion. Whenever you have the opportunity to take on more, enthusiastically say yes, crush it, and then in your year-end performance review, bring up the whole list of fabulous things that you accomplished, that included, and say, now how are we going to compensate me for all of my great work? I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have questions in the comments. I'll always respond to those bad boys. And if not, I guess that's it really. Happy holidays, Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Mwah!